To Kayla Brantley, investigative reporter with DailyMail.com and star of the Trial of Diddy podcast. Kayla, I also hear Jay-Z, aka Sean Carter, claiming that conspiracy theorists have something to do with this then 13-year-old girl's claim against him.
Not only did Jay-Z emphatically deny these allegations, he really came out swinging against the lawyer, Tony Busby, who's representing over 100 alleged victims of Sean Diddy Combs. He called him an ambulance chaser in a cheap suit. He said that these allegations were heinous and said that it was actually blackmail. So, conspiracy theorists, sure, but he's saying anything that he can to really discredit these allegations.
Dr. Bethany Marshall joining me, renowned psychoanalyst joining us out of LA, author of Deal Breaker, and you can see her on Peacock now. Dr. Bethany, when I start hearing about conspiracy theories, I tune out. Remember when O.J. Simpson said there was a big conspiracy to frame him? Like the LA cops are going to get together and frame a beloved football star? Yeah, that didn't happen. So when you hear conspiracy thrown out there, it immediately makes the speaker lose credibility.
Just like, what was it, Code of Honor makes him lose credibility because people who do heinous things turn the act into its opposite. So Code of Silence gets turned into Code of Honor. Nancy, so Jay-Z's response is so aggressive. He's tearing down the attorney. He's defending his own family. He's talking about his children. He's trying to expose the victim. I couldn't help but think, what if I was a 13-year-old girl and I felt this kind of aggression when I was drugged? I think that's what's going to be in the mind of the public. Like, Jay-Z is being so aggressive. What else is he capable of? And Nancy, women don't realize that when they marry somebody, they marry their crimes. They marry the other person's crimes. Sure, they may not end up in jail like the other person, but they're going to end up paying for an attorney, losing friends, losing their credibility. Women sign tax returns all the time with their partners, and without knowing that the partner is in millions of dollars of debt to the IRS. So that's kind of what I think about this, Nancy.
Okay, are you trying to say that Beyonce married into a whole heap of trouble?
Yes, I am. I'm not sure that she knew about it. Women blind themselves to that, Nancy. I'm writing a book about love fraud right now. And what I'm seeing is that women who marry men who have offending patterns, they do not see it at the beginning. They are so in love. They feel so grateful to be with that person that they cannot even imagine that person would do bad things. I don't know about Jay-Z, if these allegations are true or not.
Okay, I'm sorry, my head just blew off. Are you telling me Beyonce should be grateful that she is married to Jay-Z? I never knew what she saw in him anyway.
I'm sure she felt that way because women feel that way, Nancy. We're socialized to feel that way, to look past the misdeeds of the other person. I'm sure you saw this all the time.
Okay, yeah, actually I do, but not everybody is Beyonce. Beautiful, talented, multi-millionaire, probably billionaire, beautiful children. I never saw the Jay-Z, Rob Shooter. Why did she marry him to start with? Not that that's part of the evidence, but why did she marry him? Out of all the men in the world she could have had.
A couple of reasons. If I'm being optimistic, I want to say because she fell in love, and love's very confusing. We never really know how to follow it. But if I'm being a little bit more cynical, Jay-Z helped shape Beyonce's career. When she married him, she definitely was a star, but she was in a group, Destiny's Child. She hadn't yet broken out into being a superstar in her own right. So many people think that Jay-Z, he's not just a performer. You have to remember, behind the scenes, he's one of the most powerful people in the music business.
Plus, she started dating him when she was just 19. And I don't know, I'm not a shrink, I don't know how that played into it, but at 19, what do you know? I mean, now I look at a man and I think, would he be a good father? Is he going to be a good role model? I tell my husband all the time, look, wherever you go during the day, act like you're going to work. Okay, just act that way. Okay, get dressed up and go to the office. Okay. Luckily, I've got Life 360 on him, so I know he does go to the office. But I look at what kind of father they're going to be. Are they going to be stable? When I need him, is he going to be there? Is he going to be running across the street to get a pack of cigarettes? So help me out, Bethany. I'm trying to explain something to Rob Shooter, and I don't think I'm doing a very good job at it. What you want at
Well, hey,
19 may not be what you want later.
Nancy, it's true. Jay-Z was rich, famous, and a producer, and she was 19 on her way up. He employed the most common offending pattern or grooming pattern. If the allegations are true, I have no idea. But the offending pattern is, hey, I'm rich and famous, and I can make you rich and famous too. Okay? So I call that grooming.
Okay, this is what I know. All I'm hearing right now is a blah 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 blah. But I know this. This is what I know. That when Beyonce's sister Solange attacked Jay-Z, they just stood there and went, go. Use your foot, girl. Go, go, go. It didn't bother her at all. Now, that's my friend Harvey Levin over at TMZ. So we can talk to, we're all blue in the face, but to me, that video says it all. Lynn Shaw, somehow I've gotten into the marriage of Jay-Z and Beyonce. Can we just bring it back to the 13-year-old little girl?
We can bring it back, Nancy, but I have to weigh in. Let's get real. I'm a New Yorker. This was always, we heard, a business arrangement. He was such a powerful man. She was
Well, then
young.
where did those 3 children come from?
Well, that's another program, Nancy, if you want my thoughts on that, because I've heard a lot of different versions of where they actually came from. So I'm just going to leave it at that so we can talk about the 13-year-old.
That sounds like another conspiracy theory. I'm not buying into where the children. Do not even put the words
Nancy,
Blue Ivy in your mouth. Okay, don't.
I didn't, but Nancy, let me tell you something. Think about this, everybody. Conspiracy usually proves to be true. Think about all the conspiracies we've heard about when people throw that word out there. It usually turns out to be true. And I'm going to leave that for a minute. I'm going to get to this 13-year-old. First of all, very disturbing. This vehement, whatever this statement is that he put out, Jay-Z, you know what it did not include? It was very aggressive, as we've pointed out. He never actually said, I did not touch a 13-year-old. I did not touch a little girl. I am the father to, a young girl. He said a lot of things, but he did not actually deny this if you read through that. So I have a problem with that. I also have a problem with a little 13-year-old signed an NDA. A child cannot sign an NDA, but here's what we need. We need proof. We can talk till we're blue in the face, scream and yell. We need proof. I want to know, where's that limo driver that supposedly dropped her off at this White House with the circular drive? Can't we trace back records to who his driver was? Rob Shooter, weigh in. You've been in New York a long time too. Like, there's been so many stories about Jay-Z, Diddy, this and that. And let me tell you, a code of silence, code of honor, whatever you call it, it's called don't talk. So that's in New York. I'm a New Yorker again. Why is Jay-Z talking out like this? Why is he opening his mouth at all? That's my take on the whole thing. We have to get back to the victim, the survivors. I'm the first one that always supports them. But if we are to go to court and prove all of this, we cannot do a disservice to the real victims, the real survivors, if we can't get this case into court and hold them accountable.
Okay, Rob Shooter, number 1, answer her question. And number 2, you think you know who the female mystery celebrity is, don't you?
Two things there, Nancy. So to answer the question, Jay-Z is speaking out now, not because he saw the light or he's been a good guy. He was named in a lawsuit. And so he is responding to that lawsuit. He's known about these rumors for a really long time. Also, too, let's be honest, Jay-Z knows what happens. Him and Diddy were there. They know what happens. And so the only reason Jay-Z is talking is because he has been named. Second question, Nancy, was about, remind me, forgive me.
Shooter, the mystery female celebrity.
That's why I forgot it.
You know who you think it is.
That's why I forgot it. I don't want to talk about this one. There's rumors. I think I know who it is. It's somebody that is very close to Diddy. This is not a random celebrity. This isn't somebody that stumbled into a party. This is someone that's a friend, someone that considers him a brother, somebody that wants to protect him. I said enough.
Okay, I'm not getting it out of you today, but I guarantee you, Shooter, I will get it out of you.
Sean Diddy Combs will be celebrating his first Christmas in jail, and it looks like it will be a full day. Christmas at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn will include the opportunity for inmates to play card games, dominoes, and a 3-on-3 basketball tournament. And when it's time for the traditional holiday meal, the Christmas Day Diddy menu will feature baked Cornish hen, macaroni and cheese, cranberry sauce, dinner rolls, and a holiday dessert.
A holiday dessert. Cornish hen, cranberry sauce, mac and cheese, dinner rolls, a holiday dessert, a traditional holiday meal, card games, dominoes, 3-on-3 basketball. What? Straight out to Dr. Dwayne Hendricks. Dr. Hendricks joining us, former associate warden at MDC, Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, former senior warden with the U.S. Department of Justice, blah, 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 blah. Author of Who Are You? See It, Say It, Seize It, and president of a New Daylight Foundation. Okay, Dr. Dwayne, I could go on with your CV, but I don't have time. Dr. Hendricks, what am I hearing? Nobody's making me a Cornish hen, and I haven't committed a felony, nor have I been charged with one. Cornish hen, mac and cheese, cranberry sauce, a special holiday dessert, what?
Hey, it's the most wonderful time of the year, Nancy. Again, they are housed under the care of the Attorney General, U.S. Attorney General, and it's their responsibility to make sure that they're run a safe and humane facility. And as all Americans and folks across the world celebrate the holiday season, it's not unusual to spend taxpayer dollars to ensure individuals who are inside facilities, have some semblance of the holidays because obviously, suicide rates are very high during this time period, and also folks are fighting for their freedom. So they want to make sure that there is some semblance of normalcy in their lives, although they are incarcerated.
Okay, Dr. Hendricks, I'm very surprised that you just said that. But instead of attacking you for your, let me just say, generosity toward accused rapists, Lynn Shaw, help me out here. 3-on-3 basketball, a Christmas Day Diddy menu with Cornish hen, mac and cheese, cranberry sauce, dinner rolls, and a holiday dessert. This while Sean Combs, a.k.a. Diddy, a.k.a. Puff, a.k.a. Puffy, a.k.a. Puff Daddy, a.k.a. Love, is whining he can't have his laptop. I mean, something is completely bass-ackwards with this. Oh, you know what? While I've got you, Lynn Shaw, he also had a special Thanksgiving meal, turkey roast, mashed potatoes, mixed veggies, cranberry sauce, turkey gravy, dinner rolls, of course with margarine, and a special assortment of holiday pies. Thoughts?
Hi. AKA Dirty Diddy. You forgot that one, Nancy. Let me tell you something. Give this guy porridge, soupy porridge. I don't care. He's getting a lot of special things here. But let's turn this around. How about all the victims we at the Warriors work with, survivors who are not being treated to special Christmas desserts, on the taxpayer dollar, because we have to bake the cakes, the public, and bring it to the people because we don't have the resources to give them a nice holiday, and the toys we have to collect for kids because, well, the taxpayer dollars, there's not enough to go around for these poor survivors of human trafficking. And this guy's complaining he should get nothing. I'm sorry, you're in jail for a reason. Even if you haven't been found guilty yet, you should be sweeping out the cells. Send them out onto the streets. Our New York City streets are filthy. Let them go out there. Well, then again, here in New York, they call that labor trafficking, so we can't have that. But let's get back to, come on now. We don't care what he has to eat. Give him that old tuna fish sandwich we heard about a few months ago. He deserves nothing. And from what I understand, he's still getting, from my sources, a couple of special privileges in this Metropolitan Detention Center. Let's put the focus back on the holidays and the kids, the survivors, the victims of all exploitation.
I just feel to Dr. Bethany Marshall, psychoanalyst, that the focus is on what can we do for Sean Combs to make his life better and happier and more luxurious and more pleasant behind bars while he waits on his multi-count federal indictment trial. We now know he's creating a stink because he can't have his personal laptop. Remember Alex Murdaugh behind bars for double murder and the brutal execution of his wife and son? Remember when he got a hold of a tablet and he took shirtless selfies? I don't even want to think about Alex Murdaugh without his shirt on. So why does he get special food, special menus, a holiday Diddy dinner for Christmas, a laptop, 3-on-3 basketball, dominoes, card games? Just when you think about the lifetime sentence, the life sentence that victims get after they are brutalized, and then everyone is worried, like Dr. Dwayne Hendricks is worried about Diddy's feelings behind bars?
You know, Nancy, I always wonder, like, what is good for somebody who's sociopathic? What would be good for Sean Diddy Combs is to have the identical experience that the victims had. Now, I don't mean to be, but to be frightened, to be cut off from resources, to, as Lynn Shaw so beautifully said, sweep out the other jails, sweep out the streets, to really know what it's like to be in that position, because sociopaths don't have empathy. They don't know what their victims feel, or if they do know, they use it to manipulate them. So if he had a similar experience, that actually might be helpful for him, and good for him to not have that laptop because he would use it to threaten victims.
Spending his birthday and holidays in jail was never a plan for Diddy. The disgraced music mogul has been trying to get released from jail pending trial, but even though he has offered upwards of $50 million to wait for trial at his home on Star Island, prosecutors have insisted he is a threat to witnesses and victims. Diddy has had 3 swings at being released on bail until trial, and each time he's whiffed.
Straight back out to Kayla Brantley, joining us, investigative reporter at large for DailyMail.com and host of the Trial of Diddy podcast. Kayla, tell me what happened at that last bond bail hearing.
Yeah, Nancy, this was his third attempt at bail. The judge completely denied it. And interestingly, in court, Diddy showed up not in shackles. This was actually a request made by his legal team that they felt that it would really just influence the jury and, people around, because this is, a high profile celebrity. And the judge did grant that. So he was not shackled this time. He said hi to his family. So that's what happened in court. But he's supposed to have his trial start May 5th, 2025. And every legal expert that we've spoken to thinks that's absolutely impossible. So it's likely that he'll be there for a while.
To Joshua Ritter, veteran trial lawyer, former prosecutor, and host of Courtroom Confidential. Josh, the lawyers at trial wanted Diddy housed in a luxury apartment in Manhattan. Okay, they came up with all of these terms, offered to put up a $50 million bond. They also insisted the restrictions on him having a laptop are, quote, untenable, and that he should have unfettered access to a computer whenever and wherever he wants to use it. Let me ask you first about the bail bond bid. What do you think? Will there be another one? I think there will.
I think they'll keep on trying because they're desperately trying to get him out to try to defend himself on this. I don't think there's a chance of it happening, though. I mean, we've heard, the more that we hear about this man was an absolute menace for decades, intimidating people, using his power, using his wealth to get what he wanted and to scare people. And the prosecutors see that. The judge, thankfully, is seeing that. I don't think there's a chance this man gets out. He's already made his best shot, $50 million and basically around the clock surveillance. And the judge says no dice. So I don't think there's a chance he gets out before trial.
We've been talking about Jay-Z, aka Sean Carter, getting dragged into the Diddy turmoil, but there is another star probably sweating it out right now, Jennifer Lopez.
A new documentary about Sean Diddy Combs' protege Shine has the former mogul sending out cease and desist letters from jail. But his people say it isn't to get rid of the documentary. He sends the C&D to make sure the facts are right. Shine is with Diddy and Jennifer Lopez the night shots rang out in a New York nightclub and 3 people are shot. He and Diddy ended up on trial in 2001, but only one of them is convicted and sent to jail. And it isn't Diddy.
So, Kella Brantley, Daily Mail, hasn't Lopez been through enough? And now she's got to worry about being called as a witness because of Sean Combs? Hasn't this woman been through enough?
Well, her dating history is something completely, separate, but she called it the greatest love story
Date him
never
fine,
told.
marry
Her
him,
story with
no.
Ben Affleck.
Gosh, I hope
Well,
she
I
doesn't marry
wish
the
they were
next
the
one that
best.
happens to go by. Okay, that's a whole nother program, okay?